Yo, this is Real Talk E. Welcome to the Locker Room Talk, nothing but basketball. Now, I know everybody's surprised, and I know I'm late with this video today, but let me just give you my opinion on what went on, and let's really talk about it. Let's break it down. Okay, so yesterday we had the Celtics go up against the Heat, and we expected this to be a sweep. Be honest, y'all. Everybody expected this to be a sweep. If you didn't, then if you say you didn't, you're lying. If you actually didn't, you're just some Celtics just like stand. Honestly, you all up on their jack. Like, relax, bro. Pipe down. Like, they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not. Yeah, but we had them go up against each other, and to be honest with you, I felt like the Celtics had one more game in them. But at the same time, the way that they played Game 3 and the way they played 2 and 1, I was like, I don't know if they can get that one though, because the Heat, they're not a team to play around with, and the Celtics seem like they've been playing around with them, and the Heat are also not a team that is gonna sit here and fold or allow you to outplay them, out hustle them, and the Celtics, they're not really a hustling team. They're not really like a grit and grind type of team. They're not like a let's do all the dirty work. Everybody dive for 50-50 balls. Everybody do this. Everybody do that. It's more like we're trying to beat you with our talent and with our 3-point shooting. And for the first 3 games, the Heat were doing really good at stopping the Celtics from shooting a whole bunch of threes and from making a whole bunch of threes. And they were forcing them to get to the paint. And you know, when the Celtics score in the paint, they don't win. So, like for example, against the Sixers and the first game against the Heat, they had like 66 points in the paint. So that's like about 70 points in the paint, and they lost because the Celtics really, really win with their 3-point shot, like most teams in the NBA. But the Celtics is like to another level. And for example, yesterday the Heat just were not doing that. To start it off, the first quarter, it was a lot of back and forth, but you was able to tell that the Celtics came to play at least for the first half. You know, when you watch this first quarter, you're like, okay, well, they're at least here for the first half. And that's their problem, is that they're always here just for the first half, for the last 3 games before this one. And you watch this and you watch the Celtics go up, I think, by 6 points, and then the Heat come back and they take a 7-point lead, and you're like, damn, what the hell is going on? Second quarter comes. Celtics go on a 7-5 run. Now, how many times have we seen the Celtics go on the run in the second quarter of this series and they cannot hold on to it? Either by the end of the second quarter or somewhere in the third quarter, they just lose that lead and they allowed the Heat to go on a run that matches whatever run that they just went on, or a run that's better than whatever run that the Celtics just went on. How many times have we seen that? Pretty much every single game, and that's why they lose. Like, for example, I forget if it was game 2 or game 3, but one of the games, they were on a 21-2 run. In the third quarter, the Heat literally went on a 21-2 run. And that's how they lost. And another thing for the Celtics, it was like, can you guys actually get stops? Can you guys play defense and get stops back to back to back? And I know that sounds crazy to say from the Celtics team, who had some of the best defense, this year and the end of last year, and they pretty much have the same team with an addition of a couple of guys on the bench. So it's a crazy thing to ask from them, but is honestly what everybody's been wondering. Can you guys play defense and get back to back to back stops? And honestly, yesterday they delivered. They were getting back to back to back stops. And when you get to the third quarter, Miami started turning over the ball. They're not playing good. They're not playing together. It's a lot of ISOs. They're trying to force passes. They're not really trying to play with the rhythm of the game. They're not trying to, have a fluid type of offense. They're trying to force things. Everything's being forced, and the Celtics forced turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover. They got blocks. They came down the running in transition. They got to the basket. They started making their threes. Jason Tatum, I think in the first half was 6 for 10 from shooting. In the third quarter, he took over the first like 2 or 3 minutes of the quarter. He was going off. Like I think he scored like, please don't like you know get at me if I'm wrong. I don't remember, but I think he scored like 10 or 15 points in the first like 3 minutes. He had like two or three threes. He got to the basket a couple times, made tough layups, and he passed the ball around. Marcus Smart, who was struggling to shoot threes in the first half, in the second half, especially in the third quarter, he hit like two or three threes, and um, Al Horford, who've been struggling to shoot, to really do anything this entire series, and I believe the end of the Sixers series yesterday came out and hit like three or four threes. He ends the game with 12 points. Grant Williams had 14 points. He hit some super clutch threes from the corner to really just like ice the game for the Celtics, especially in the third quarter, because we all know that in the third quarter, last game, that's where the game really went away from the Celtics. That's where they started losing, is that third quarter. And this time, Grant Williams hit the shots, and he forced them to always have a lead no matter what. If the Heat came back and tied it, Grant Williams hit a three. If the Heat were within striking distance of tying it or taking the lead, he came back down and hit a corner three. It's just how it is. And for a player that's playing defense and has to sit in the corner and wait for his shot, he was doing really, really good yesterday. Derek White, I'm not going to lie to you, for somebody that had the last two games like 2 of 4 from three, 3 for 5, 4 for 4. I expected him to really like knock down a lot of threes this game, especially because everybody was starting to knock down their threes, but he was starting to cool off. He missed a couple, but it's fine, I guess, because overall the Celtics ended up winning. Um, Great passing. They played together, the Celtics. Jason Tatum with 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. That was amazing to see. Jaylen Brown did not have his best game at all. He had 17 points, yes, but it was not a great game from him. It was terrible. He missed a lot of shots. He has a lot of dumb shots that I feel like, should not have took. He should have passed it off to somebody else, especially early in the fourth quarter when, they usually sit Tatum and they let Jaylen Brown do him. He was just very careless with the ball, and he was taking shots that he should not have been taking. I said that, and he would get to the basket and try to get a layup, and it just felt like he was rushing it. And it might be by accident because he's he's actually very fast, or it might just be him being in his head. And then before we even talk about the rest of the fourth quarter, in the third quarter, after Tatum goes on his run, Jaylen Brown basically couldn't deliver, couldn't help him out in this quarter, and Jimmy Butler comes in. And when I tell you, this man had 9 points in the first half. 9. In the third quarter, when he comes back in, he goes on a pretty much a 15-0 run. He scores all 15 points for the Heat. Now, mind you, the Celtics did score a couple times here and there, but all 15 points for the Heat, it felt like. He was just attacking. He woke up in this third quarter and had 24 points going into the fourth. Now, in the fourth quarter, after Jaylen Brown does what he does, after, his moment is up, and the Heat are cutting into this lead, they're coming back. Coach calls a timeout. I believe it was a timeout, but somehow, some way, I don't remember, but somehow, some way, he gets Tatum back in the game. Now, when the Celtics put Tatum back in the game, automatically they go on like a 6-0 run. And I think it was even extended to a 10-0 run. and they not only regain the lead, but they extend the lead, and they pretty much ensure that they're gonna win. And also, this was the first time in this entire series that Jason Tatum scores a bucket in the fourth quarter. Not free throws, a bucket. The first time this entire series that he comes out and scores in the fourth quarter. And you wonder why the Celtics have been losing. You do not need a rocket scientist to figure out why the Celtics have been losing this series. They're not giving themselves a chance. How are you going to win if your star player is not taking shots in the fourth quarter? Or is not scoring in the fourth quarter? It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. Yesterday he came out, he delivered 33 points. I already said, his whole entire stat line, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But at the same time, you look around, both teams, Jimmy Butler had 29 points. And then now you look at the contribution of everybody else. For the Heat, Bam Adebayo only has 10 points. Gabe Vincent has 17 points, and he injured his ankle. He, got blocked by Tatum, came back down. He twisted his ankle, whatever, landed wrong. He went back to the locker room, came back, thank God he's okay. I would hate to see any player get injured right now, especially, after the series is the finals. So it would suck to see any team be handicapped. So I'm glad he's able to come back and run around. He even got to the basket as soon as he came back in the game. But yeah, he had like 17 points. Max Strus did not have his best game. I think he had like 9. Kyle Lowry didn't have his best game. K Love only has 6 points, and I think they came in the first quarter. What else happened after Kyle Lowry? Caleb Martin has 16. So, I mean, it's not that bad, but still. And then everybody else just did not deliver. They did not come to play. Now you look at the Celtics. Tatum with 33. Jaylen Brown with 17. Al Horford with 12. Mark Smart with 11. Grant Williams with 14. And Robert Williams, he don't miss shots. So, he makes whatever gets to him. Like, I don't think he's missed a shot in the last 3 or 4 games. But exactly my point. Contribution matters. Now, can the Celtics come back from a 3-0 deficit? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, it's impossible, but they do have the talent to do so if they just think that every game is a game 7. And to be honest with you, they just need to win game 5. And that sounds way harder than said. I know they're at home right now, right? They go back home for game 5. And you would expect them to win, especially with the Celtics fans in the arena and stuff like that. You would expect them to win. But the Celtics are actually really bad at home. After losing game 1 at home, they were 11-11 at home in the playoffs, and now they lost game 2, so now they're 11-12 at home. So they will have to win game 5 in order for them to win this series, for them to have a chance. Because on game 6 is in Miami, but the Celtics, they've been in game 6s where they could have been eliminated before, and they've been in a whole bunch of game 7s. So that's okay. But they have to win game 5. They have to win game 5. And after this game, I'm telling you, the Heat are not going to come back for game 5 in Boston and be on some, oh, it's fine. Like, we're just going to play, how we played last time. No. Trust me, they're going to play way harder. And they're not going to go 8 for 32 from 3. They're going to make more threes. Unless the Celtics defense really, tightens up, then they might make 8 or 10, 12 threes again. They're not going to turn over the ball 16 times. Again, unless the Celtics defense tightens up. And if I'm the Celtics, I know what's at stake. And I'm not playing around. And I'm not even try to go outside and try to go, all that. No, I'm locking in. This game can mean pretty much finals or Cancun. There's one game. Even though you have to play 2 more, this game is probably the most important game of the series at this moment. And I feel like they have the ability to come back from a 3-0 lead. They have the talent, they have the defense, they have the offense. Are they gonna lock in and do that? Because they have this thing where as soon as they take a lead, they want to slow down the game and run out the clock and stuff like that, which does not help them. If you look at the fourth quarter of this last game, they were trying to do that. It did not help them, and the Heat cut into the lead. And that's my point right now, that the Celtics can't play around. They can't do anything. They gotta lock in. They have to give themselves a chance. Stop turning over the ball so damn much. Stop taking double quick shots, trying to get knockout shots, and trying to get the crowd into the game. No, you gotta play hard. Drive to the paint, kick it out for 3. Simple, basic basketball. Play like that. That's how y'all won yesterday. The Heat didn't just show up. Just show up, come out, play, which I think they will. They just had a bad game. It's fine. It is what it is. It happens, bro. They're human. They're not gonna have great games every single game that they touch the court. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna play hard every single time. And with all those turnovers and all those missed shots and stuff like that, they weren't that far out of it. You know what I'm saying? I think the game ended 116-99. But in reality, like, they were in the game most of the time. So it is what it is. It's enough for me rambling. Chat, it's time for y'all. Let me know. Chatting down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E, and it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety in my hearts.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the 3 to win it. Good.
That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.